Who we got next?
Our first guest that is coming on the show tonight, because really tonight is a night that I really don't know what I would call the theme of it, but I would say it's definitely just about community activism and engaging in conversations that are definitely needed in Detroit. And our first guest has some exciting news, and she's actually representing the Michigan Diversity Roundtable and Inclusion, and her name is Miss Freeda Sampson. Can she come on up?
Hello. On stage.
Hello. What's up?
Not much. How are you today?
We're doing good.
Wonderful.
So you're bringing good news for us today.
I am.
For the metropolitan area about truth and reconciliation, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about it.
Certainly. We are in Michigan, in Detroit specifically, doing our first Truth and Reconciliation Commission. It's actually the second Truth and Reconciliation Commission in the United States. And it's a model that was taken from South Africa, post-apartheid. And our focus is around racial inequality. So the purpose of this effort is to deal with the collective truths that have taken place in this community for generations about how we became the kind of city, the kind of region that we are. Both the good news and the bad news about how we became so segregated as a community. But we don't want to stop with the conversation around our history. We want to talk about our history. We want to be aware of how we became these kind of communities. And then we want to look at and examine ways to create more regional equity in the future. So the Truth and Reconciliation Commission will be launched on November 4th and 5th.
Okay.
And we'll be at Cobo Hall. And we have Naomi Tutu, the daughter of Desmond Tutu, who will be our guest speaker. And we're looking forward to be an extraordinary time and a launching port for new things to happen in the city of Detroit and the metropolitan Detroit area.
Awesome. So how can people engage in this and be a part of this? What's the lure? What do they need to do?
Well, you can go on Michigan Roundtable's website, and we have a lot of information. I've also brought some information here tonight that I hope that I can leave with you. But it's really quite simple. We will be at Cobo on November 4th and 5th. We encourage the entire community to be a part of this weekend. And there is a small cost to be a part of it, but if you're unable to pay the cost, don't let that stop you, because we have scholarships, we have volunteer experiences. There are a number of ways where people can be a part of this process, because it will be ongoing. It won't be over on November 5th. Quite frankly, that's when the work really starts.
Right.
So how often will there be meetings of, the interaction with the people? How often?
So the commission, once they're seated, there'll be 9 members that will represent the broad region. They'll kind of set their own tone, but they'll more than likely be meeting monthly, and periodically we'll have public hearings where people can come and share their own story about why they lived in the neighborhoods they lived, how they became a part of this community, the rich history that exists in this community and how it manifests itself. And they'll use that information, those individual stories, along with research, to create a set of recommendations. And with those recommendations, then we'll move towards policy, we'll move towards regional action. But that's probably a 1.5 years or so off.
Gotcha. As far as the interaction utilizing social media, the data that you compile, would this be available online for users to get?
Absolutely. We are we're as hip as we know how to be. We've got a lot of young people working with us. We have about 30 interns who are high school students who will be engaged throughout this process, and so they'll be doing a lot of social media. We'll be updating our own Facebook page and our own Twitter, Michigan Roundtable for Diversity and Inclusion. And so there's always that opportunity to find out what we're doing next, and then the commission themselves will be doing their own thing. And quite frankly, I don't know exactly what that will be, because there'll be an independent body.
So is there anything else just about what you do in your job that you want the people to know about, and just, that message? What is that?
Well, the focus of my work really is around dealing with the rich history that exists in this community. You know, we talk about Black Bottom and Paradise Valley. We talk about Motown, as we just spoke of. We talk about all the things that makes Detroit this complex and fabulous city to live in. We've gotten so mired with the challenges and complexities that we've had to endure that we need to kind of get back to where we were and release the pride and the celebration of our great talents, and understand that where we are doesn't mean this is where we have to stay.
Yeah.
But we have to work collectively. We're not suggesting that this truth and reconciliation process is the only answer, but we are suggesting that it is one of many answers. And as long as we all do our part and participate in the good news by acting progressively, then we will see a region that will be worthy of those of us who live in it.
Awesome. Clap it up. Well, we thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to add, Ms. Sampson?
I just want to thank you for the opportunity. I like what you all are doing. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
And Godspeed for it.
Thank you. All right, give it on up for Ms. Sampson. So that's good news.
Boy, that's great news. Monumental things happen.
Because a more peaceful and united Detroit, it's going to start with the people. You know, we can build all these buildings, we can have, you know, the prettiest restaurants and whatever, but if we're not all living in unity and happy, then I think, you know, it's a problem. So real change is going to start with people.
Yeah, I think it's an important aspect for the community to get involved in the decisions that are being made for them. You know, start being a proactive, you know, citizen rather than just sitting back in their phone talking about it. Get into the group like that, you know what I mean, and get voice those opinions out. Get to know what you can do now, what's being done, you know what I mean, in the political world, and you know what you can do now, and keep it going.
Right. So we're going to take a quick break.